your soul will be free.
Hello everybody, welcome back to Screenstars. I'm here today to bring you my review for the 2022 horror film Sin Eater, a film that is co-written and directed by Carmelo Chimera, and it stars Jesse Nerud, Danny Bonham, Scotty Bonham, Bill Moseley and Scott Moore. Now the film focuses on Jesse Nerud's character Christine. We see at the beginning of the film she's involved in a car accident, quite a nasty car accident in this small American town, I think it is. Now after she gets out of hospital, she is staying with the local sheriff, played by Danny Bonham, Isaac, and his father. They're happy to let her stay there while she recuperates. Now, as a result of the accident, she's had to have her mouth wired shut because it was just so damaging to her mouth, her teeth, all her jaw, and all this kind of stuff. So she can't eat properly, she can't speak properly. She's feeling really, really the accident and all this kind of stuff. But she soon learns that the town she's staying in has something of a strange religion going on. You know, one of those religions that require sacrifices and things like that. And she comes to a slow realization that she potentially is being kept against her will, and she is there for other reasons than recuperation. Right, what are my thoughts on Sin Eater? Well, the way I've just described that film is essentially what you're getting here with this film. So if you're like one of these horror fans that like to watch these horror films that are set in like small American towns where there's these religious cults going off that require human sacrifices and lots of demonic hoo-ha going off, then this is probably going to be a fairly standard, decent watch for you. And again, that's kind of the best compliment I can give this film, a standard watch, really. There's nothing that makes this film stand out. It doesn't really do anything original, but it is perfectly watchable. One thing that I did quite enjoy here in this film were the performances, especially from Jesse Nerud, who plays Christine. This young woman who obviously is feeling really, really vulnerable after the accident that she's in, and it does show how she got in this accident at one point in the film, and she essentially picks up this hitchhiker, offers to take her to the hospital, gets in a car crash, and lo and behold, that's how she ends up where she is. But things just aren't right in the house that she's staying in with this sheriff, Isaac, and his father, Abraham. Very, very religious, but they also initially seem very kind, very accepting to her, and then things start going sideways, like when the housekeeper turns up. And she really is a horrible little bugger, treats her terribly, and then as the film progresses, characters in the film start slowly turning sour towards her. The sheriff makes advances, all this kind of stuff, and it all gets a bit creepy, and you just know things just aren't right. And then she starts doing her own little bit of investigating and discovers that bloody hell, she's got to get out of there. And in the meantime, her brother comes looking for her because she's obviously gone missing. And again, so all the red flags are there as you're watching this film, and it kind of does everything you expect a horror film like this to do. It's almost like a slow burn build up. It's almost like a mystery investigation type movie until everything is kind of revealed by the end, and then it gets really, really intense, as you can imagine. And you don't need instructions or spoilers from me to kind of figure out what kind of happens at the end of this film, obviously. And it was pretty much what I expected by the end. There were no real surprises, even though it was fairly watchable. And even though this is a horror, the only real horror you get is like in the last 10 minutes of the film. There's very little else. I mean, there's a little bit of body horror here and there. There's a good scene late on in the film that's associated to, you know, the wire jaw being wired shut and all this kind of stuff. But for much of the film, it is really just her in this house interacting with this sheriff and his father, slowly come to the realization that, you know, this town isn't everything it is made out to be or pretends to be, and there's very, very sinister things going on. It's shot well. Yes, it's a low-budget horror film, but it's not, as I sometimes describe, a no-budget type horror film. There's some decent production values going on here. It's competently directed. The sound design's all on point. And the performances are actually very, very good as well. There's nobody here stands out as, you know, a roll your eyes type performance. Everybody here, you know, knows their job, does it well, and delivers pretty good performances, especially, as I mentioned, Jessie Nurad, who plays Christine, the main character here. Bill Moseley, obviously, is well known in the horror community. He's not in it a great deal, but he does make an appearance, and overall, I think I'm going to give this one a 5 out of 10. It's pretty much straight down the middle. Like I say, it's not going to win any major awards. It doesn't do anything original with the genre, but it's well made and it's perfectly watchable. So thanks for watching, everybody. I hope you enjoyed this review. I will, of course, be back with plenty more content on the channel very, very soon.